Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Tariq Amin, lecturer, Department of English, Cohort University of Science and Technology, Cohort. Today I am here with a new lecture, that is types of paragraphs, and this is the 23rd lecture of the course Functional English. The course code for the course is ENG 101. Lecture outlines of today's class include types of paragraph, and there are many types of paragraph, but we will discuss only 6 types of paragraph. The first one would be narrative paragraph, the second one is descriptive paragraph, the third one is expository paragraph, the fourth one is persuasive paragraph, comparison paragraph, and the last one is process analysis paragraph. The first one is narrative paragraph. Narrative paragraphs usually narrate a story, and narrative paragraphs are normally chronological. They are a sequential presentation of the events that add up to a story. You present different events and sequential order in a particular sequential order, and all these events add up to a particular story that you are narrating. For example, you are narrating a particular story and you narrate different types of events in that very story, but you present all these events in a sequential order. A narrative differs from a mere listing of events. It is obvious that a narration or a narrative paragraph or a narration always differ from just mere listing of events. For example, you are making a list of events. That is different from narrating a story. Narration usually contains characters, a setting, a conflict, and a resolution. Narrative or narration usually contain these 4 things. The first one is characters, the second one is setting, the third one is conflict, and the fourth one is resolution. And time and place and person are normally established in different types of narrative paragraphs or in different narrative or narrations. So narrative paragraphs usually in narrative paragraph, different authors narrate story and present different events in sequential order. This narrative serves as the opening anecdote that illustrates the topic of the story. And I haven't given that example of a narrative paragraph due to the short space in these different slides, so I couldn't give the example of a narrative paragraph. The very last point in this narrative serves as is the opening anecdote that illustrates the topic of the story is taken from that very example, and it refers to that very example. The second one is expository paragraph. The word expository has been taken from exposition. Exposition is explanatory writing. In expository paragraph, you explain different things. You explain a particular object, you explain an idea, or you explain a particular concept. So exposition is explanatory writing. You explain different things in your paragraph. Exposition can be an incidental part of a description or a narration, or it can be a head of an article. So it is said that exposition can be an incidental part of a description. For example, you are describing a particular object, and that in that very object you start explaining a particular point. For example, you are explaining a book. You are explaining a book, or you are explaining a pen, but you are describing a pen, but in that very pen you start explaining a particular point. So that is why it is said that exposition can be an incidental part of a description or a narration. Same is the case with narration as well. You are narrating a story. you are narrating a particular story, and in that very story you want to explain a particular point so that the readers might get a good idea or a good sense of your story. So you want to explain that particular thing. So that is why it is said that exposition can be an incidental part of a description or a narration, or it can be the heart of an article. It means that your whole article might explain a particular thing. The key problem with exposition is credibility. You are explaining something and you write different sort of sentences in your explanatory writing or in your expository paragraph. But the question is, are these different sentences credible? What makes your explanation believable? How one should believe your explanation? Now, there is a solution to that. Normally, writers solve this problem by citing authorities who have got good credential and good reason to be experts in the subject. For example, you are explaining noun, and in order to explain noun, you refer to different author, you cite different grammarian, you cite different grammarian that are internationally acknowledged as grammarians. So, in order to make what you say believable, you cite different authors or different authorities in your area. For example, if you are from the Department of Microbiology and you explain a particular idea, let's say you explain cell, and you, in order to explain cell and in order to support your idea or support your sentence, you need to cite different authorities in microbiology or in the very area of cell. And the other example is if you are from the Department of English and you are explaining adjective or you are explaining nouns, so you need to refer to different authorities in the department, in the area of English or in the area of English linguistics. For example, you can refer to Renan Martin, you can refer to other grammarians as well in order to support your idea, in order to make your points believable and credible. This paragraph also happens to serve as the justifier or nut graph for the little article, the paragraph that after an indirect opening specifies the topic of the article, why it is important, and what is to come. So it explains all the things. For example, the topic of the article, why a particular topic is important, and why is it necessary to be researched or need to be carried out and research on that very topic. So expository paragraph is explanatory writing. This must be taken into consideration. In other words, this must be kept in mind that expository paragraph or exposition is explanatory writing. An expository paragraph, you expose different people to different things. The third type of descriptive paragraph is descriptive paragraph. The very name or the very title of the paragraph or the very title of the type of paragraph says that, shows that or indicates that descriptive paragraphs are about the description of a particular object. They describes things. This types of paragraph describes things and shows the reader what a thing or a person is like. So it is very clear that descriptive paragraphs describe something and they show the reader that what a thing or a person is like. The words chosen in the description often appeal to the five senses of touch, smell, sight, sound, and the last one is taste. So your description most of the time appeal to these five senses. The first one is touch, second one is smell, the third one is sight, sound, and taste. Descriptive paragraphs can be artistic and may deviate from grammatical norms. Very much important point, that descriptive paragraph may deviate from grammatical norms. There are There are a number of grammatical norms, and your descriptive paragraph may deviate from those very norms, and that they can be artistic. So a descriptive paragraph describes something. For example, you want to describe your laptop, so you can write a descriptive paragraph on your laptop. You can say that this is my laptop. This is my laptop. It is black in color, and it is called i5, or it is N series, or it is uh, you can say many sort of sentences about your laptop, and you can describe your laptop. So that would be descriptive paragraph, because in that very paragraph you describe your paragraph. In the same way you can describe a particular person as well. For example, you have your friend, for example, Asim, and you describe Asim that uh, Asim is tall, and he has good eyes, he has black eyes, and you can say, or you can describe him by using many other types of sentences, so that the combination of all those sentences would make a descriptive paragraph. Persuasive paragraph. This type of paragraph tries to get the reader to accept a particular point of view or understand the writer's position. And persuasive paragraph, you usually state a particular point, and you state a particular point, and you want the reader, or you want your reader to accept that very point of view, or you accept that very point. This is the type of paragraph that many teachers focus on because it is useful for building an argument. It often requires the collection of facts and research. So, in order to make a particular reader believe your point of view, you need to give, or you need to provide different facts. You need to provide different facts on the basis of research. And just after that, your readers will believe you, and just after that, your readers would accept your point of view. Such a type of paragraphs are usually used by advertisers. They use such sort of writing, such sort of paragraph in order to make the readers believe something, or to make the readers do something. For example, we see the different types of advertisements have, such as the advertisements of Fair and Lovely, advertisements of Unilever Brothers, advertisements of Lux soap, and such sort of advertisements. They use persuasive paragraph to in order to we can say that in order to get the readers, and in order to get the customers buy a particular product. Comparison paragraph. Once again, the word comparison shows that comparison paragraphs are about the comparison of different things. So the comparison essay, it is essay, not sorry to say it's not essay, it must be paragraph. The comparison paragraph is used to highlight similarities between two things, between two things or more than two things. For example, there are two different students in front of you. The first one is Asim, and the second one is Zahid, and you need to highlight the similarities between these your between your friends, or it can be objects as well. For example, one fan and another fan, one room and another room. And you can also write uh, comparison paragraph on different university. For example, you can compare Part University uh, to Gomer University, or National University of Modern Languages to Islamic International University, Islamabad. So comparison paragraphs are about the comparison of different things. In order to do this, you have to make sure that you have picked two things which are actually comparable. Very much important point. If you want to write a comparison paragraph on two things, that two things must be comparable. You should take, or you should take only those things that are comparable, and you shouldn't take those things for your comparison paragraph that cannot be compared or that are not comparable. You should take two things that are comparable. They need to share some features. They need to share some feature. For example, you are comparing two universities, and we know that one university shares some of its features with another university. For example, Kohad University of Science and Technology shares some of its features with Global University, Dera Ismail Khan, for example. Department of English is there in Kohut University, and with the same we can say that Department of English is there in Global University DI Khan as well. So these are some of the features. This can be done for humorous effect when comparing things that are normally compared. For example, like categories of things like people, places, and things are what we usually compare. Yes, we compare usually people, we compare different places, we compare different things as well. People are generally compared to other people, but if you decide to compare your friend to a garbage dump, it can be quite funny. Yes, it can be quite funny if you compare your friend to a garbage dump. Yes, it would be obviously funny. A process analysis. This is the another type of paragraph, that is process analysis. A process analysis paragraph explains how to do or how to make something, or it explains how something is done. The purpose of this type of paragraph is to inform, clarify, explain, define, or instruct by giving information, explaining why or how, clarifying a process, or defining a concept. Because such explanation must be clear, the process paragraph must be written in chronological order. It must be written in chronological order. And it must include a topic sentence. Yes, it must include a topic sentence that clearly states the paragraph's purpose, or that clearly states the paragraph's central idea or the paragraph's central theme. It must include transition words or phrases, and phrases such as first, next, finally, as a result, and that connect each to each of the steps. An example of process analysis paragraph can be, for example, you cook biryani. Yes, you cook biryani, and there is a process for cooking biryani, and you explain how to cook biryani to your friend. You say that first of all you need to cut onion. After that, you need to put oil in your container. After that, you need to put salt. After that, you need to put that very cut onion, and then tomato, and after that you need to put rice in the container. After that, you need to boil it, and this is how we cook biryani. So it is the process analysis. You explain the very process of cooking biryani to your friend in step by step manner. You instruct your friend on how to cook biryani in a stepwise manner. In today's class, we discussed the different types of paragraph. The first one was narrative paragraph, and we discussed that narrative paragraphs narrate a particular story, and narrative paragraphs are chronological in order, and you put different events in your paragraph in a chronological order. You put them in a sequential order. After that, we discussed descriptive paragraph. That descriptive paragraph describes a particular thing or a particular object or a particular place. And then we discussed comparison paragraph, in which we said that in comparison paragraphs you compare different things, and you compare different things and you look at these similarities between these different selected things, and you only select those things that are comparison. You don't select things for your comparison paragraph that are not comparable. Then we also discussed persuasive paragraphs, we discussed process analysis paragraph, and we discussed expository paragraph. That in expository paragraph you usually explain something. Expository paragraphs are explanatory writing where you explain different ideas, you explain objects, you explain places, and you explain several concepts. So expository paragraphs are about the explanation of something. You explain something in expository paragraphs. Thank you very much for listening to the lecture. Allah Hafiz.